This guy can sell anything to anyone. That's the biggest lie in sales. I'm going to show you why on this episode of the Do This, Sell More show. Hi, I'm Dave Lorenzo. This is the Do This, Sell More show. We're live with you every day at 5 p.m. on YouTube, and you can also join us on the podcast. It's released at 9 a.m., 365 days a year. I want you to join us in both places. The new episodes go up on YouTube, and the replays are on the podcast. Today, we're talking about the biggest lie in sales, and that's this guy can sell anything to anyone. How many times have I heard that? That takes place in transactional sales. And when you think about transactional sales, you think about the old question, I want you to sell me this pen. Remember that stupid question in interviews? Selling pens, everyone thinks is transactional, but I'll tell you a story. My grandfather was a pen salesman. My grandfather sold office supplies. And when he sold office supplies, pens were part of the office supply sales process. He went out early in his career, he went out and knocked on a lot of doors, and he tried to sell office supplies, office to office. He met with office managers, met with assistants, met with people who are entrepreneurs, and that was a tough road for him, going out every day, getting kicked in the teeth with rejection. They were already buying their pens from somebody somewhere. One day he went into a building and he saw that there was chaos. There was water everywhere all over the floor. This was one of his clients. And he had gone to try and write some new orders, make some money. And people were just running around, lifting up the furniture because there was water flooding into the office. He asked somebody what was going on, and they said that a pipe had broken. And the plumbers were the maintenance engineers were trying to shut off the water as they spoke. But the office was flooded. Nobody knew what they were going to do. Well, my grandfather was smart, and he had a client who owned a carpet cleaning company, and he knew they had big extraction machines which could suck up water. He called the carpet cleaning company on his own without talking to anyone and had them in that office within 45 minutes. And the carpet cleaning company was sucking up the water in that office within 45 minutes. His client didn't even authorize him to do that. He realized that if his client went nuts, he was going to have to pay that carpet cleaning company. Turns out the carpet cleaning company did a great job. That business was back in business within 2 hours after the disaster happened, and my grandfather was a hero. What do you think happened? Well, the people who were in that office where he was standing when the water main broke gave him the biggest order of his career because they were so grateful, so appreciative. And the carpet cleaning company also gave him the biggest order that he had ever seen from them. Those two companies were appreciative that he brought them together. And they both got value out of that relationship. And my grandfather got value out of putting them together. And he realized he was onto something. And the thing that he was onto was connecting people and building relationships was more valuable than knocking on doors. He immediately began introducing people to each other, and his sales appointments, instead of becoming cold calls where he would have to push his way into an office to sell pens and office supplies, became breakfasts, lunches, coffee meetings, where he was introducing people to one another so they could do business. This relationship-based approach was far more valuable to him than anything he had done in the past. Now, I tell you this story because my grandfather was one of those people that everyone would say he could sell anything to anyone, but his transactional sales background was not serving him as well as his relationship-oriented approach served him. So, my friends, the point I'm trying to make here is there are three approaches to sales. The first approach is a transactional approach. And when you hear someone say, this person can sell anything to anyone, they're talking about a transactional sales guy. They're talking about a transactional sales gal. They're talking about the woman who can work for a pharmaceutical company, charm her way into an office manager's office at a physician's practice, leave some samples, and get the doctors in that physician's practice to write her prescription instead of her competitors. That is a very different skill than the person who walks into the office manager's office, asks how things are going, finds out what the biggest problem the office manager is facing, and then introduces the office manager to someone who can solve that problem. Transactional thinking is different than consultative thinking, and consultative thinking is different than relationship thinking. When you think transactionally, you're thinking one step. I do this, you give me money. When you're consultative, you're thinking two steps. You're thinking, I ask you questions, you tell me what your pain is, I relieve your pain, you give me money. When you think about relationships, you ask about what's going on now, but you also ask about what they want to happen in the future. You connect them with someone who can make things happen now, and you also connect them with someone who can make things happen for them in the future. And in relationship thinking, you follow up and make sure you help them achieve their goals for the future. Transactional thinking is immediate gratification for you. Consultative thinking is gratification in solving a problem or removing pain, gratification for them, gratification for you. Relationship thinking is gratification for them now, gratification for you down the road when you help them become even more successful. If you want to think about this in a different way, think about it in ways that make the most sense. If you went out and bought a candy bar today, it would satisfy your desire for a sugary treat. And that is transactional. If you went out and invested in a diet program and you followed that diet program for 2 weeks, you would lose 10 pounds, and that 10-pound weight loss would be good for you because you'd look good in your new suit that you were going to wear to your award ceremony. If you invested in a personal trainer and a nutritionist and you followed their programs every day, you would change your lifestyle, and over the long term, you would be fit and you would live longer. The first way, the candy bar, is transactional thinking. The second way, the investing in the diet and the following the diet for the short term, that's consultative thinking. And the third way, the lifestyle change, that's relationship thinking. The biggest lie in sales is this guy can sell anything to anyone. The reality is that you have to focus on relationships and not transactions. What you want people to say about you is, this guy can help anyone at any time. He's got such a wide network that regardless of what your challenge is, he can connect you with someone who can help you solve your problems. And once he gets to know you, he can anticipate what your problems will be ahead of time and help you prevent them from becoming huge issues. And he's the person who's critical to your future. You don't want to be the person who can sell anything to anyone. You want to be the person they count on when they don't know what to do. You want to be the guy they call when they don't know who to call. You want to be the woman that's at the top of the list when they say, who's the most valuable business relationship in my career? Well, it's this person. That's what you want to be known as. Don't be known as the person who can sell anything to anyone. Be known as the person to call when they don't know who to call. Be known as the most valuable business relationship in my career. I'm Dave Lorenzo. Make sure you do this and sell more. I'll see you right back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. on YouTube, tomorrow at 9 a.m. on the podcast. Until then, here's hoping you do this and sell more. Now, watch this video.